Good morning from the white sandy beaches of Nha Trang, Vietnam. Now this is one of the most popular beach resort towns in the country, and yeah, generally I avoid these kinds of places, but I decided to come here and see if Nha Trang has got a bit more to offer than your general beach resort town. So yeah, let's go have a look around. Alright, so I am now walking on the main beach here in Nha Trang, and I got here yesterday evening, took a bus from Dalat, and yeah, the bus ride was absolutely amazing because you drive through the mountains to get here and the views were stunning, but those bus drivers are batshit crazy. They overtake going through corners on these little mountain roads, and yeah, you feel like you're risking your life, but the drivers themselves actually admit that they are driving like crazy because they say that it is part of the job. Anyways, the bus ride itself was super scenic, and now I am here in Nha Trang. And as I mentioned before, this is not really my kind of place, so I only have one day here, but I wanted to check it out anyways because it is very popular and very famous. And yeah, first impressions, this beach looks pretty decent, and you have the beautiful mountain scenery everywhere, also on this side. And yeah, right now it is pretty empty because it is 10 AM. But make no mistake, it is boiling already. Probably around 35 degrees Celsius and a lot of humidity. So yeah, that's why I'm not walking on the actual beach. I'm trying to walk under these palm trees a little bit because it is just crazy hot. Anyways, yesterday evening I walked around town a little bit, and the two main groups of tourists here are Russians and Koreans, and then Vietnamese people, of course. But yeah, you hear a lot of Russian and a lot of Korean here, and there are direct flights to both countries from Nha Trang here. So I don't exactly know why, but Nha Trang is very, very popular among Russian tourists. So yeah, I will take a dip in the ocean later. I just wanted to show you this beach area first. And one thing I have to say as well is that it is quite clean, which is good, of course. And here you can see the lady cleaning the promenade. And yeah, Vietnam does have a pollution problem in some places, but not here apparently. The whole beach area seems to be very nicely kept. As you can see here, this beach goes on pretty much forever, and then on the other side as well. And most parts are just public beach. So there are no umbrellas except for some parts over there. But yeah, the rest is just public beach. So you can come here and bring your own umbrella. And yeah, here you can see some of the architecture in Nha Trang. So you have all these modern towers. This is actually the Hyatt Hotel. And then you also have some old colonial buildings, but not many. And then when you go a few kilometers into that direction, away from the coast, then you get to the more Vietnamese looking places where you have all the hustle and bustle and the markets and stuff. Now we gotta cross here, and that's not gonna be easy. Alright, now I gotta cross. And here, gotta find a hole. Crossing a big avenue in Vietnam, always a challenge. And did you see that Range Rover? That was pretty fancy. I mean, yeah, some people live quite well in old communist Vietnam. Now I need some air conditioning, so I'm gonna head to the coffee house. But yeah, look at this, McDonald's, Hyatt Hotel, all the modern buildings. This is Nha Trang. One part of Nha Trang is very westernized, that's for sure. Back on the beach now, and I just had a little coffee break there. And yeah, that brings me to the prices here in Nha Trang. And I have to say that this is one of the most affordable beach resort towns I've ever been to. In relation to the development and infrastructure that you have here, this is a very, very cheap destination. Yesterday evening I went to a Korean barbecue restaurant, and it was all you can eat Korean barbecue buffet for less than €6 per person. That is very, very affordable. So yeah, if you're coming here on a holiday, you're definitely not gonna break the bank. Of course, there are some expensive international hotels and restaurants here, but even those aren't that pricey compared to other countries.
Talking about hotels, let me quickly show you my accommodation. I rented an Airbnb on the 23rd floor of the tower above Gold Coast Mall. The place is located just 1 block from the beach and right next to several shopping centers. The apartment itself was clean and comfortable, with a king-sized bed, fully equipped kitchen, spacious bathroom and a decent dining table. The best part, however, was the balcony. Would you look at those views? The only downside of this building is that it doesn't have gym or swimming pool facilities, which is usually standard in residential buildings of this size in Vietnam. So what's the damage, you might ask? Well, I paid €29 per night, which is a ridiculously good price for such a nice apartment.
So what I like about this place is that it is very touristy, but it does have its Vietnamese charm. Like this lady here on a bicycle selling stuff. So it does feel like a generic resort town that could be anywhere in the world, but then you are reminded quite a lot that you are in Vietnam. So it's kind of a mix between a modern beach resort town and a traditional Vietnamese city. And yeah, those mountains in the background actually give me Rio de Janeiro vibes. And yeah, now I'm gonna show you something completely different here in Nha Trang, more specifically a historic structure. All right, we are now at the Po Nagar temple, which is one of the few historic sites here in Nha Trang, and apparently it's worth a visit. So let's go check it out. This is the ticket. It was 30,000 Vietnam dong, which is about €1. Not bad at all. And this is the complex right here. It's actually a Hindu temple, and you got this huge tower up there, which we're gonna see in a minute. But yeah, this entire complex was built between 800 and 1100 years ago. The history isn't very clear, but yeah, it is a Hindu temple. So it was dedicated to a god, which I forgot the name of, but I'll put it into the video. And yeah, let's head up there. And this is the main tower here. Looks pretty impressive. I think I'll go have a look inside. So I wasn't allowed to film inside, but yeah, there is a small prayer hall in this building, and then there's another one up there. And here we have some of the traditional dresses that the goddess Po Nagar was wearing, and then these are some offerings. Alright, we are now leaving the temple complex here, and then we're gonna go get some food. Just look at how crowded this place is. And yeah, this is a different area of Nha Trang, so it looks a lot less developed and fancy than the beach resort area, which is over there in the distance.
Together with Mrs. H, who is accompanying me here in Vietnam, I went to a tiny local restaurant away from the tourist crowds. It was the perfect place to try a Nha Trang specialty, nem nuong. Sorry for the terrible pronunciation. Anyways, it's a platter of minced pork meat with vegetables. You mix the ingredients and then roll them into rice paper. It tasted a lot better than my facial expression would suggest.
And here you can see the crazy traffic in Nha Trang. Very difficult to cross the street. Let's see. Now, interesting observation here. All the Vietnamese people are standing where the water is shallow, and I think that's because they don't know how to swim. At least that's the only explanation that I have. But yeah, as you can see here, this is a pretty cool beach scene. White sand, and yeah, I think that I'm gonna have a swim now to see what the water is like. I don't know what kind of temperature it is, but definitely very pleasant. I am a bit of an attraction here, I guess. Yeah, lots of Vietnamese families come here on holiday, and the water is very shallow, so if you don't know how to swim, it doesn't really matter because you can just sit or stand here. Hi. I am getting chased by Vietnamese kids. But yeah, look at this. I mean, if you didn't know that this was Vietnam, this looks like Rio de Janeiro a little bit, with the mountains in the background. Of course, it isn't the Pau de Açúcar, but the mountains over there are quite stunning.
After my swim, it was time to head to a rooftop bar for sunset.
Alright guys, we are now at the altitude bar here on the top floor of Sheraton Hotel, and yeah, the view is pretty amazing even though it is quite cloudy and there won't be much of a sunset. But yeah, this is a good moment to conclude the video, and I have to say that I was positively surprised by Nha Trang. I thought that it would be another boring plain vanilla resort town, but it is definitely much more versatile than that, and you do have the conventional resort vibes here, but you also have a very traditional Vietnamese side of town, and yeah, it is just a very versatile place, and you can also go on a lot of day trips. I only had 2 days here, so I didn't really have time for that. But yeah, Nha Trang is definitely a cool destination to check out and one of the best beach resort towns in Vietnam. And that's it for today. Thanks very much for watching and see you next time. Goodbye.